In the last few days, news has emerged that family reunification will be going ahead. This has been confirmed, which means that 390,000 Syrians now have the permission to bring their families over. Multiply that by 5 and we get 1.5 million. It's going to be more than that, of course. When words get around about these 2 million people coming and people over there find out about it, we are going to see families of 5 suddenly morphing into families of 10, which will leave us with an even bigger problem. This family reunification thing has come as a real shock to me. I suppose it's my fault, really, for being so shocked about it, considering that they've been talking about it for so long in their official documents. For those of you who haven't been following either myself or other alternative media for long and don't know what I mean, there are EU documents out there referring to population replacements. There's the Kalergi plan and the fact that Miss Merkel was awarded the Kalergi Prize. There are tons of quotes from EU politicians, for example from Mr. Juncker and Miss Merkel herself. And Mr. Avramopoulos, who wishes to bring the whole of Africa into Europe, he mentioned 70 million. There are plenty of quotations to be found about this. Their intention has been obvious all along, but there's a big difference between saying something and actually doing it. But as I say, I was too naive to believe that they'd actually go ahead with their plan. All the same, it's still hard to deal with it. These people are fully aware that as a consequence of what they are doing, Europe, in its present form, will be utterly destroyed. For example, Miss Göring-Eckardt of the Green Party, another big fan of German haters, said, "Germany will change completely," and tells us that she's happy about it. Our land will change and has already changed. Today, 30% of children and young people have an immigrant background. Immigration to Germany has been a success story. We profit from immigration into Germany, and those who can contribute to our economic success. We need a modernization of our citizenship rights law. Those who come must be informed that children who are born here are Germans from their very first day. This will not affect the right to asylum, which will remain, and we will continue to accept refugees. Immigrants will pay their pensions of those who are protesting on the streets of Dresden. Or Miss Stephanie von Berg, also from the Green Party, in my opinion a like-minded party to the CDU. The CDU is poaching the votes of the Greens, which is why the Greens probably won't make it into parliament this time. This lady said that there will no longer be a German majority in Hamburg, and that there will be no majority at all. Germans will no longer be in the majority in Hamburg. We will live in a city that thrives on having many different ethnicities. We will have plenty of people and live in a super cultural society. This is what we'll have in the future. And I wanted to make it clear to you right-wingers over there. It's a good thing too. We've just had this summit, and at the summer press conference, Miss Merkel said the same thing. She doubled down, as they say. She's thrown all her cards down on the table. Sees that it's a good hand, and it's now going through with it. The UN Refugee Agency has requested us to accept genuine refugees, which include cases of extreme hardship, and relocate them to Europe. Germany is prepared to do so. In principle, one could say this is a bold maneuver from Miss Merkel, because ultimately, if her plan to replace the German people is successful, she will have achieved her goal. And if not, she'll end up in prison or worse, be faced with a tribunal. Keep in mind that we are dealing with a chancellor, a regime and a faction who regularly breaks the law, while at the same time introducing laws restricting freedom of speech. This is what's happening. And this woman is now taking this final step and doing what she announced. We have already seen stage 1 and let in millions of undocumented so-called refugees, malingerers. I would call them. We know that many of these are pseudo-refugees, ISIS fighters, and people who severely disrupt our internal security and are a danger to public safety. At the same time, the CDU are out campaigning with security and order slogan. What a fucking joke. This woman has already started on her plan. We have proof that she wanted to take this first step. This is proof of intent. She laid it all out for us beforehand. We cannot say she didn't make it known. Her Agenda 2050 states that in the year of 2050 there will be no one left in Germany without a migrant background. Dialogue of the Future, Vision 2050, is the Chancellor's favorite book, a book she promoted shamelessly at the Sustainability Conference. This is about setting new goals and developing ideas and strategies for the future. And I welcome the foresight of projects such as Dialogue of the Future, Vision 2050. It's a thick book of almost 200 pages. The best part of the book is the verbarium. Unbelievable the stuff you'll find in it. For example, in the year 2050, the term migrant background will no longer be used. The reason for the term no longer be used? This term will no longer be needed, as by then everyone will have a migrant background and be of mixed race. I knew it! The only thing that will improve for society is miscegenation. Is this the kind of thing the Chancellor spends her time reading things like that? Yes, I am almost afraid she may have written it herself. There was another almost forgotten document, and I'll touch upon it. Miss Merkel and her regime and others who are part of this announced that she would take step 1. And then step 2. She's already gone ahead with step 1 and has moved on to the next stage. She's also on her way towards step 3 and 4, when we'll have complete replacement. Step 4 is probably the last step. 2050, no Germans left in Germany. This woman does exactly what she says she's going to do, while we're all still sitting there. I myself, as I said, was naive enough to think she wouldn't do it after all. Friends, she'll do it. We're seeing it now. This is for those who are waiting to see the next step put into effect and must first see foreigners being given voting rights. Foreigners' voting rights, refugee voting rights, the rights of the pretend refugees. This is coming. Germans are going to be outvoted by these people. Whoever wants to wait that long, please do so. As I say, she announced it. She did it. Announced it again and did it. She announced her next moves, and I will realize these too. Whoever waits around for Miss Merkel to become a nice person, he'll be waiting till he's blue in the face. That's why there's only one possibility for us: to stand up to this kind of thing and keep at it each and every day and force this regime to its knees, bit by bit, so that these people lose the game. One last thought. Germany would be doing very well if everything Miss Merkel has done during her entire political life were wiped out. If everything Merkel did was completely erased, Germany would be doing better than ever. Friends, Germany is on its last legs. They've played us into the ground, and I'm not just talking about Miss Merkel, but those who came before her. It's always been the same types, socialist, globalist, etc., all on board with the same agenda. They've brought Germany down economically, the educational system, the financial sector. There's hardly any capital left in the hands of the people. It belongs to the state or is in the hands of foreign investors. Germany is already on its knees, and they are making their last bid to completely destroy the country. It may well be left as a weak economic region somewhere in the middle of Europe, obviously without Germans or any ethnic Europeans. The country will be populated with substitute workers, who according to UN documents will be African, so that the region will be worth something and can still be used. Maybe they'll keep it after all. In this respect, there will still be a Germany, but without Germans. These people are going right ahead with their agenda. If we don't stand up to them and take our country back in the next couple of years, it'll be game over. We still have the chance, we have the chance to win. That's why I'm staying optimistic. These people are not as strong as they appear once their ugly side is dragged out into the light. If we really fight against this, and fight for a great future, a bright future, an honorable future, a healthy future, even a cosmopolitan one, if you will, but in another form. A cosmopolitan national state, where Germans decide for themselves how they want to live in the future. In a Germany that is at the same time open to the world. If this is the future we want, we must work hard for it through the coming years. A decent, bright and honorable future will be possible. If we keep working at this, we will succeed. Thanks for your support.
If you appreciate our content and want to help us keep this channel alive, please consider donating using the details on the screen.